Hello, I'm Lucas. This is a bit of lit, and if I look haggard and terrible, it's because I am haggard and terrible. Yeah, it's Poetry Thursday. I'm exhausted. I've been going to bed at 9 p.m., and it's now like 9:40, and I had my first half day of work today, so I mean, I didn't really do anything there, but I'm so tired. It's been months. Um, but I'm waiting. I'm trying to finish a book. And let's talk about a poem. Uh, I figured I live in China. I haven't really talked about Chinese literature. Let's go to an anthology of Chinese literature. And we'll go to Tang Dynasty poetry. And we'll pick the first poem here. It's by Wang Wei. And there's a great little introduction here that explains this poem. At this time, writing poetry was not, as it says, not just a literary act or a governmental thing, because I think Chinese literature was very much often about, being an edict of government in some way to give the people something to chew on and keep people in line, that kind of thing. But it was also a social act. People would write poems for each other. I write a poem for one of you, just for you to read, and a certain kind of poem would be if a friend came to visit you and you weren't around. They would write a little poem and leave it at your place, and you would read it, and then eventually write a poem back in response. And that's what this is. This is Wang Wei, who was around from 699 to 761, and the whole title of this poem is Answering the Poem Left by Mr. Su, nominally of the Bureau of Forestry, when he stopped by my villa at Lantian. Okay? Humbly I dwell by the valley's mouth, where tall trees ring an unkept village. In kindness you turned down my stony path. No one answered the gate of my home in the hills. A fishing boat stuck to the frozen shore. Hunters' fires burned on the cold moor. All there was, out beyond the white clouds, a bell's infrequent tolling that broke through Gibbons's night cries. And yeah, that was that poem. One thing to note, it only has one rhyme from what I saw. Yeah, I don't think Chinese literature often rhymes like that, like it does with shore and more. I'm not saying that there's not rhyme in Chinese poetry. It's just that is the result of a translation. There's no part of this that shows any Chinese. And even if there was, I probably wouldn't be able to read more than a couple of words, especially because they would have been ancient Chinese, so I really wouldn't know. But yeah, I thought that was a cool poem. I like Wang Wei, and thought I'd give you a little bit of culture, give you some Chinese culture. I really like the idea that people wrote poems for each other, especially, they just went to go visit. You're not around? Well, I'll write you a poem. Oh, I came back home and I found a great little poem. I missed a dear friend. I should write back. I think that's really cool. That was part of the culture of the time, and I do sort of wish that was part of the culture of the world, and that's why I chose it. Let's all write poems for each other, eh? Cool. Bye.